But this is Wednesday morning here. I think today is May the 13th or 14th. It'd be the 14th, I believe. But yeah, we had another 2 inches of rain. Started raining there yesterday morning, early on Tuesday morning, and then rained pretty much off and on all day and during the night. So in the last 12 days, we had 5.5 inches of rain. So yeah, the other week I made the comment of planting in the dust and harvesting in the mud, or yeah, planting in the dust, your cribs will bust, is another saying different people have said over the years. Yeah, I don't know what this year will be like. Our first half we planted in the dust, and the last half we might be planting in the mud. Or it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna take a little bit to dry out. So, but yeah, we'll see what the year holds, but we are thankful for the rain. Yeah, well, I'm up here looking at our Triticale we left stand to chop here when it's headed out. And this stuff is unbelievable. It's up between, yeah, that's right there about head level. And some of it would almost stretch, it's up above my eyes. Here's one, yeah. It's not quite to the top of my head, but anyway, over here's one that's sticking up that might almost be. No, not quite. It's about the same height. There's gonna be a pile of stuff in here. There is a few spots that went down. I think we'll be able to get most of it. It's not like flat. It's kind of laying over pretty good. But anyway, we had that rain last couple of days, about 2.5 inches. And so everything's good and wet now. It kind of cleared out here today, but it is really muggy. There's a chance of thunderstorms. Slight chance today, and then Friday and Saturday is a better chance. Yeah. I would be okay if they would all miss us, but we'll take what we get. And then we're hoping to mow Monday and chop Tuesday, but we'll see how that all works out. We were talking about our hand-dug well, the water level in it. I did that video probably 3 weeks ago, and the water was, yeah, it's about twice as full as it was back then. Yeah, they have it concreted down maybe 7-8 feet at the most. It's right to the bottom of where it's concreted. And then the rest of the way on down is all rocks. Anyhow, it's definitely, we've had 5.5 inches of rain in the last 2 weeks, I think it was. And they're talking about some more here. There's about 3 nice days today, tomorrow, and Monday. And Tuesday's supposed to start clouding up, and Tuesday night into Wednesday, get a bunch more rain, they're saying. So, but yeah, it's definitely filling up, so we're thankful for that. Today's just an absolute gorgeous day. It's probably about 80 couple degrees, wind blowing 20-30 mile an hour. And yeah, it's we had all that rain earlier in the week, so it sure is nice. But up here where we have the heifers here at our other farm, we have the pasture divided into 2 pastures, and we had left them out on pasture a couple different times here on the upper part, but it's been so muddy. Or we've been getting so much rain the last 2 to 3 weeks, so we didn't let them down on the bottom pasture yet. So came up here today and we're letting them down on the bottom pasture. Probably won't have to feed them anything for a couple days, because they got piles of grass down here, and some of it's borderline, and maybe even if I don't get them out on it soon, it's going to start getting old and they won't eat it all. It's kind of a wooded, little bit of a few trees here over the hill, but then down below there's a big section where there's fairly nice pasture. Sure, we'll have plenty to eat for the next several days. Once we let them out on pasture, sometimes when you get several days of rainy weather like that, we just pen them back in the barns. We had everybody penned off a pasture for a couple days. The dry cows and bred heifers, I haven't left them out yet. Where they go out, it's plenty wet there yet. This field is actually borderline. But anyhow, we'll see how it all goes from here. Hopefully by tomorrow, if we don't get any rain tonight, hopefully I can let the dry cows out tomorrow. Usually when we let them down here, they take off running, but they're so much enjoying all this lush green grass that they're just coming down and starting to eat and just taking their good old time. I'm out here in the first field of corn that we planted. It'll be 4 weeks on Monday that we planted it, and man, this stuff with the moisture we had and the heat, and yeah, it's just moving on. Yeah, they're a good 8 to 10 inches tall. If you pull the leaves up, they're over a foot tall. Our corn's really looking nice, so hopefully we'll keep getting good rains all summer. This field here is the one I videoed, I think it'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow night, where you could just barely start to see it down the row. So around our area years ago there used to be an old saying, if it's knee high by the 4th of July, you'll have a good corn crop. Well, this stuff will be knee high here in about 2 weeks. We've had it already before where our corn was shoulder or head height by the 4th of July, so we'll see what this year holds. Yeah, I'm hearing this one field of Triticale again. Planning to mow it on Monday if nothing changes, and this stuff is unbelievable. Yeah, we did have a few spots go down. There's one section up here in the field where a whole bunch of it went down. We might have to mow that spot one way. But here's a section that went down pretty bad. And as it dries out here, it's starting to pick up a little bit. What happens when it goes down and then it gets like all wet? It's still like all wet down under there. And as it dries out, it actually comes up some. So the rest of today is supposed to be really windy. Tomorrow, Sunday is too. We'll wait till Monday to mow it. So I'm hoping a bunch of it comes back up, but we'll see. Most of it is all still standing. Yeah, you can see out across the field. Down below us, here's another section of the field. Yeah, you can see part of that's down some, but a lot of it's still standing really good. So I'm thankful for that. But around here, I've had it already where it's been up to, like, whenever you'd walk through and hold your arms straight out, it'd be up to your armpits, but this stuff is up to my shoulders on average. And yeah, there's spots of it that's even up to my eyes. And maybe even, yeah, there's one that's almost to the top of my head. I mean, it is so close. But yeah, there's little sprigs sticking up here and there that are that tall. So anyway, as a general rule, it's 5 feet plus. The most we ever got off of our late cut Triticale was 22 ton to the acre. So I'm curious what this does make. We have that one field. We have about almost 70 acres yet, 68 maybe. The one field, about 24 acres of it's on a slate land field. And when it was really dry earlier, it needed some moisture before it got it. I'll just say it that way. But so it's not quite this tall, but it's up to my armpits. If I hold my arms out straight out, I just brush it the whole way through. So yeah, it's still pretty tall too. So hopefully we'll average 20 ton plus on all of it. That will give us a lot of feed for our heifers and dry cows for the year, and that'll be a good blessing. I did some video up here at a reservoir here at a mountain near us, and up in the mountain near us, and we talked about how dry it was there in the spring, and we've been getting a lot of rain recently, which I'd mentioned about that too. We had between 5.5 and 6 inches in the last 2 weeks, but we came back up to the reservoir here, and man, it's way up from what it was. It still ain't full, but yeah, if we keep getting rain, there's a lot of water running in over there out of the mountain into it too. So that sure is good. I forget how far it was down, but here's the end of the ramp, the concrete ramp. They have like a boat ramp, then you have some stones, but it was way down another, I'm gonna say 50 or 60 feet from here earlier. So yeah, I don't know what percentage they would call this now, but it definitely is fuller, a lot fuller than it was.
My 2 bottle babies are in here. That's actually not the mom. That mom, that's Bunny. She had 4 babies. I was away when these babies were born. They're getting desperate. And Arlen was taking care of all the goats and stuff. And yeah, he thought most of them were being taken care of pretty good, but these 2 were not. So we started feeding them bottles, and we were kind of hoping this mom got really sick. And that's the other reason why she's in here. But we were kind of hoping maybe she would take care of them, but she's like, nope, they're not my babies. So we were giving her some medicine and stuff, but anyhow, they're little bellies, so that's the sad part. I wish they'd be little nannies, but Bunny's eating her supper, and they're getting their supper. I feed them about 4 times a day. Give them 2 bottles each, or I should say I give them 2 bottles 4 times a day. But they're pretty little babies.
It's Monday morning here, May the 19th, and we're mowing our late cut Triticale. Some of it went down on us here. We have 2 different varieties. The one variety went down pretty bad. The other variety is still standing really good. So I'm thankful we don't have all this one variety. Yeah. And where it's down, we're getting most of it, but there's going to be a little bit there that we can't get. The worst of it is we had several different storms, so sometimes you just have one storm when it went down, it's all laying one way. But some of it went down from the first storm, and some of it went down from another storm, so some of it's laying one way and some of it's laying the other way, so it don't matter which way you go, it don't do a whole lot different. So yeah, we're just trying to go a little slower and yeah, keep our settings on the mower right, trying to get the best we can. But where it's down, it's pretty wet underneath it. It still should make some really decent feed. Yeah, this is our late cut Triticale that we let head out and put it up mainly for heifer and dry cow feed. Depends how it tests. We might dribble a little bit of it into the milk cows, but most of it will go for heifer and dry cow feed. We have probably 65 or 68 acres. Yeah, if you look up through the field here, you can see the headlands here. We're done with this one variety that went down pretty bad. And then the rest of the field up there is all still standing really good. So we're really thankful for that. Thankfully, of the 65 acres that we have, only about 22 to 25 of that is this one variety that went down so bad. Here's something that don't happen every day, but my daughter was on her way to town and she called me and said there's cows out. So I came down here and here's the springers. They lifted a gate off the hinges and apparently there was a cow in the middle of a calving and she had her calf just like right here. Yeah, all the springers are out except one. There's probably, I don't know, 15 or 18 of them. In here behind the hay shed now, so I got to get them brought around. We have everybody over there lined up to run them back in their pen. Yeah, I was going to say a little more about them cows getting out. I was over here mowing and my daughter calls me and says, hey, there's a bunch of cows out on the road down here by the farm. And I'm like, oh my word, I'm over here on another one of our farms about a mile away. So I was just getting to the end of the row, so I'll be right there. And my youngest son had just got back from, right after that, got back from taking some cows to auction. So here was our springers. Yeah, they somehow picked the gate off the hinges there. It's a big old heavy gate. So I know they can pick gates off of hinges, but that one's one of that big old heavy made out of regular pipe. So anyway, somehow they picked that thing off. Yeah, this is gonna make a whopping pile of stuff. These windrows are like really, really heavy. And yeah. This field here is not quite as tall as some of the others, but it's still going to make a decent amount of stuff. At least this field didn't go down at all. I mowed for about 2.5 to 3 hours here this morning. My son took over and I came back to the farm to get that trench ready and get some other stuff cleaned up and ready. But yeah, the samples all back from these different triticales. I'll maybe put a little bit of that on there. Well, I do know our first cut triticale that we did, the early stage, it tested about 18 to 18.5% protein. We pulled a couple samples on it, so it was really good. It's really good feed for the milk cows. And this late cut usually is in that 10-11% protein range. It tests about like first cut in grass hay would test. So yeah, it makes really good feed for the heifers and dry cows. So. And the thing I like about this later cut stuff, I don't know what it'll do this year. There's a couple spots that are down. We're getting most of it, but not quite all of it. But we usually average between anywhere from 18 to 22 ton to the acre on this late cut stuff. So there's nothing you can get that makes tonnage like that does as far as a grassy or hay. I mean, some of your corn silage as well, but not grass hay or small grains. So. But there again, the later cut stuff don't make as nice a feed for the milk cows. So that's why we do it in two different stages. This is our late cut triticale that we have left from last year. Yeah, I don't like to run out, but I don't like to have a lot left over either. But we probably have enough here for barely a day or so. But yeah, we're gonna start chopping here this afternoon. So we cleaned up the end there. We had all this rain here in the last 2 weeks, so it made it kind of wet here at the other end. But yeah, it's cleaned up pretty nice. Yeah, there's a good slate pad out past the end of it, so it's good and solid. We're chopping our late cut triticale. We just mowed this stuff about 4 or 5 hours ago. Yeah, it's a really drying day and the wind's blowing, and this stuff it's not too dry, but it's definitely not too wet. These mergers are pretty slick how they work. He's picking 3 rows up and putting it over on one. So yeah, it would be about 30 or lower 13 feet. Be 36 and 38 feet going on the one windrow. Yeah, we're chopping here this evening. Got a beautiful sunset back there. The sun's almost down, but it's shining up on some clouds. And yeah, we're working at filling this one smaller trench. We're probably going to end up having some over, or I know we will have some over in a second trench. Yeah, there's no way it'll all fit in here, but anyhow, it's going pretty good. We're going to go to about 9. They have another job they got to go. Some alfalfa, I think 60 acres of alfalfa they're going to chop for a guy yet tonight. Then they're coming back here in the morning to finish ours up. So yeah, it's beautiful stuff. It's about the right moisture for in the trench. It's pushing good. Everything's going well. You almost hate to quit, but yeah, can only do so much. We actually didn't mow quite all of it. We're going to finish mowing the last probably 10 acres in the morning.
I came out here to feed my goats tonight, and here she has a little baby back in there. It's still wet, so she just had it. Looks like she's only gonna have one. But here's another baby, but that is just standing there. That's not hers. Oh, it laid down. Yeah, and here's all the other babies. Lots of babies running around. Here's some of them just laying there in the sun. That one's a really pretty one. He's a Billy. That one has triplets. And my chickens are right beside the goats. They're all sitting out here in the shade. I think I'm scheduled to get another batch of chickens or some peeps here, I think the second week of June. We usually like to get them earlier, but I guess with all the bird flu and all, everybody was wanting chicks, and so we couldn't get them till later. But anyhow, they come, their pen, they go in their pen around the corner, but they all come over here in the shade and sit over here by the goat pen. And then we have these little ones. They try to get as close as possible so you can pet them. Yeah, no, all the babies are outside.
Yeah, it's Tuesday morning. We're back at it here again. We had, I think we did 26 load last evening. Yeah, we've been going for a couple hours here already this morning. They're talking about a bunch more rain for us here starting late tonight or early tomorrow morning through Wednesday into Thursday. So most areas will probably get 1 to 2 inches, they're saying. But yeah, we're probably another 12, 15 loads in this trench, and then we'll move over and put the rest in another trench over here. I doubt the other trench will quite get full, but it's really turning off some stuff. I'll be curious to see how much we get total. When we were mowing, we were talking about having some spots that were down, and yeah, it got most of it. Right here's one of them spots. Left a little extra longer stuff, but it got a large majority of it. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst spots, and what it left there. Yeah, if you look out across the field here, there's a couple more spots straight on out here where it was down some. I'm pretty happy with what it picked up overall. Sometimes when it's down, you have to mow it one way, but this stuff, we had several different storms there a couple days in a row, and some of the storms came from different directions, so you'd have one spot that was laying one way and another spot another way, and it was just, you couldn't have mowed it one way and did any different. This spot here in the middle that's a little greener was a section about 10 or 12 acres we cut there a couple weeks ago. We're hoping to plant this all yet tonight. I guess we'll see. We're in the last field. It's turning off some pretty good stuff. Here, my son Willie's planting beans in part of this field. We're gonna put sorghum in the rest of them. We'll put a couple flags in so we know where the dividing line is. We get a bunch of rain to barely be able to tell where it's at, and plus with spraying and stuff, and we're talking about another 1.5 to 2 inches of rain here in the next couple days, so we're not gonna have time to get the sorghum planted, but we are getting the beans planted. So anyhow, yeah, we're putting these flags in here tonight, but then we had 2 terrible long days the last 2 days. Probably put in, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's 30 hours in the last 2 days at least.
We put the flags the whole way down through here. I was gonna see if they were straight or not, but it's almost getting dark, so we can't see them. They're probably straight. We brought our doggy along. He likes to ride on the back of the gator. We try to get Penny to get on, and she always acts like she wants to come along, but as soon as we put her on, she'll bail right back off again.